Okay, so in this video, we're going to be going through question 3 on the question sheet. So in part I, it says find the gradient of the line L, whose equation is 3x plus 2y equals to 7. Okay, so in this equation then, there are no x squareds involved. There are only x's and y's. As a result, we know this is a linear graph. So anything that just contains x and y is a linear graph. Okay, so thinking back to video 1 in this section, all equations that I'm aware of or that I see often are y equals, whereas this one is 3x plus 2y equals. So what I'd recommend first is rearranging this equation to have y equals. So let's do this. So I'll write down the equation first. We'll have 3x plus 2y equals to 7. Okay, so we want to get y equals, so I'm going to move this 3x first. It's a positive on this side, so it'll become a negative on the other side. So I'll have 2y equals to minus 3x plus 7. And lastly, I'd move this 2 to get y on its own. So it's timesing on this side, so on the other side we're going to divide. So remember that because you're dividing the whole of the other side, everything divides. Okay, so I've divided this part here by 2 and this part also by 2. Okay, so now we're going to have a little think about our GCSE knowledge. So obviously because this is a linear equation, it's got the form y equals to mx plus c. So you should be really aware of this. If not, have a look through the GCSE question for me. So m stands for my gradient and c is my y-intercept. Okay, so we've nearly done this question then. Find the gradient of the line L. So my gradient here is representative of this m part, which as you can see here is minus 3 over 2. Okay, so all you'd have to write as this answer would you say the gradient is minus 3 over 2. Fab, okay, so that's part I done. Now let's have a look at part II. This is where it gets a little bit more challenging, but not too hard. So find the equation of the line which is perpendicular to L and passes through the points 3, 1. Okay, so we need to think about what it means for a line to be perpendicular. So we know we've already got a line here. So imagine this is my line L. And if a line is perpendicular to it, hopefully you're aware that that means it's at a right angle. Okay, so imagine this is my line L. We know that there's another line which is perpendicular, so at right angle to it. And we need to find what that is. Now, we know it passes through the point 3, 1. Let's focus first on the fact that this is a line, so it's going to have the same form as y equals to mx plus c. So the gradient can be found by having a think about the fact that if it's perpendicular, the gradient of that line is going to flip this upside down and the sign will change. Okay, so the gradient will be 2 over 3. Okay, that's just a nice little rule. When anything's perpendicular, the gradient of the line before it is flipped and the sign is changed. So we found m. So now we need to find what c is. Let me plug in m first. So we're going to have y equals to 2 over 3 x plus c. So we're in the same situation as before now. So we've nearly got my equation, but there's one thing I don't like. It's this plus c. I never have an equation which has plus c in it. So let's try and get rid of this. Well, we know that when x is equal to 3, y is equal to 1. So let's plug this in. We're going to have 1 equals to 2/3 times 3 plus c, which gives me 1 is equal to, sorry, not plus, 2 plus c, giving us an answer of c is equal to minus 1. So my final answer will be y is equal to 2/3 x minus 1. And that's my answer. Perfect.